This is QTV News. I am Umudu Gajaga. Thanks for joining us. First, our headlines. Today is the International Human Rights Day and marks the 71st anniversary of the signing of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. As our bulletin today shows, the world still has a lot to live up to in the ideals of the Declaration. The International Court of Justice held its first hearings on the case filed by the Gambia against Myanmar for its alleged genocide against the Rohingya Muslims. President Barrow has put an end to months-long speculations by announcing the imminent formation and registration of his own political party. The Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, MOBSE, commemorated World Human Rights Day with the theme Stand Up for Human Rights. The National Human Rights Commission, in collaboration with the National Youth Council and partners, joins the rest of the world to commemorate Human Rights Day. This year's theme is being Youth Standing Up for Human Rights. For more on these and other stories, stay tuned. Welcome and thanks for joining us. This is QTV News. The International Court of Justice on Monday held its first hearing on a case filed by the Gambia against Myanmar for its alleged failure in its obligation to prevent and punish the crime of genocide on the Rohingya Muslims. QTV's Mohamed Lamin Choi has been monitoring this story and he now reports.
Backed by the OIC and several international lawyers, the Gambia is in the lead of fighting to facilitate the delivery of justice at the UN's highest court for the gross human rights violations that are allegedly perpetrated by the Myanmar state security personnel against Rohingya Muslims. The Gambia has touched the hearts and minds of vulnerable Rohingya Muslims who suffer terrible atrocities at the hands of Myanmar state security forces. The smallest country on the African continent is celebrated by those who they stand to defend for justice and peace. They chant in unison at a refugee camp in Bangladesh the Gambia's name. The Gambia had requested the world's court to enforce provisional measures orders which can increase pressure on the Security Council to take actions in Myanmar through a resolution to address indicators of genocidal intent alleged by the Gambia. The Gambia's Attorney General Tambedu is the state agent of the Gambia appearing before the court. Minister Tambedu expressed hope, trust and confidence in the International Court of Justice. Tambedu also emphasizes that Myanmar is not alone in this trial, as many believed, but that the collective humanity of the world is on trial.
Indeed, we come to you because we believe in the values that this court has upheld for decades since its creation. Because we know that you inspire confidence in the manner that you dispense justice. That you inspire trust in nations around the world. That you treat all sovereign nations, big or small, with equality. And that because you restore hope when all seems lost.
The Myanmar government is accused of not using its authority to step up in defense of the rights of the Rohingya Muslims through accountability measures by preventing genocide and punishing culprits. The Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyi is also at the International Court to defend Myanmar's charges of genocides over the 2017 crackdown on the Rohingya Muslims. Councils representing the Gambia are calling the International Court of Justice to consider the evidence of genocide and enforce provisional measures orders. With reports of genocide from special investigations by the United Nations, the international community is accused of turning a blind eye to the condition of the Rohingya Muslims. One of the legal representatives of the Gambia before the court argues that a failure of humanity has happened again in the case of Myanmar.
And as history has shown, when the international community fails to act, it only invites further catastrophes. In Lieutenant General Dallaire's distressingly prophetic words, quote, "The genocide in Rwanda was a failure of humanity that could easily happen again.
The Gambia's call before the world's court and its charges leveled at Myanmar authorities are clear. The West African nation is calling for justice and peace for the Rohingya Muslims in pursuit of happiness in their own country.
All that we seek from you is that you tell Myanmar to give the Rohingya a chance to live a decent and dignified life in freedom and peace. To give Rohingya children the opportunity to laugh and play football or bolikela in their parks like our own children do. The opportunity to go to school and dream. Dream of becoming lawyers or doctors or scientists. Opportunities that we have all been given as children.
A UN report on the Myanmar genocide has found evidence of mass extrajudicial killings, gang rape, arson and infanticide, which the Myanmar authorities have denied, describing the accusations as exaggeration. The journey of justice for these victims has begun, inspiring not only 57 OIC member countries to support, but also Canada and the Netherlands. Myanmar's de facto head of state, Aung San Suu Kyi, was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1991 for her non-violent struggle for democracy and human rights in Myanmar. One of the consuls presenting Gambia's case said Aung San Suu Kyi had used neither her status as de facto head of state nor her moral authority to prevent the genocide. It is not possible to strip a Nobel Peace Prize laureate of his or her award once bestowed. Looking at what is happening to the Rohingya in Myanmar and Aung San Suu Kyi defending her country, one may wonder if vices can be virtues. Mahmoud Lamin Choi for QTV News.
President Adama Barrow has announced that he will register a political party this month to seek for re-election in 2021's presidential election. Aliou Cisse has more.
President Barrow made the announcement on Sunday during his final meeting in the capital Banjul as he wrapped up his 2019 constitutionally mandated countrywide tour. The 3 weeks tour was meant to dialogue with Gambians to know their concerns and as well share with them the government's policies and programs. President Barrow came to power in 2016 with a promise to serve for 3 years, but apparently has had a change of heart. His decision to form a party, he said, follows the people's appeal during the tour for him to establish one. He said the grand launching will be held at the Independence Stadium in Bakau. The president's announcement has now put an end to months of speculation as to whether or not he was working on forming his political party.
Kon Gambian yi woto Gambian olu man yena ma mom altole tamontati yena ma isi altole nati yena ma sanil karta altole kate dinna mo nek sen president pour liggéeyal president ngado ko kale so len gisene jaran na len nali yaaje ko jaratale man dama wara samp parti te ñanta parti yo lola suma genna wala mako mom kala kilo muntale way benen genna wala bi yena ko mom.
President Barrow, who had lived in and was educated in Banjul, used the meeting to thank the people of Banjul for the welcome accorded him. He reaffirmed his government's commitment to transform Banjul to match the status of a city. The people of Banjul took turns to express appreciation for the development taking place in the capital. The project will see the rehabilitation of roads, sewage and the drainage system in Banjul. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
World Human Rights Day was commemorated on Tuesday by the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, MOBSE, with the theme, Stand Up for Human Rights. Our reporter Lamin Dabo attended the event and he now reports.
This commemoration is in line with the ministry's vision to strengthen human rights values through education, as it has piloted a project in 6 schools within the Gambia's 6 education regions, with partnership and support from Amnesty International Senegal office. Sally Colley, teacher coordinator for the Human Rights Friendly Schools pilot project, explains some of the major achievements of human rights friendly schools.
The school community have started developing keen interest in human rights and its related issues. For instance, teachers in pilot schools have now adopted more human rights friendly approaches in delivering their lessons. With the coming of this project, Teachers in the pilot school have started using more dignifying ways of dealing with indiscipline in the school rather than corporal punishment.
The Deputy Solicitor General Aissatou Alwa Graham shed light on government's role in protecting the human rights of its citizens, especially children. She further explains that for the country to attain its objectives on child rights issues, certain mechanisms have to be in place.
The government is aware that the 21st century child faces more risks and uncertainties and will need to gain more knowledge and master more skills than any generation before, and that there is no doubt that school children need a common platform in which they can discuss, interact, and share their views on issues affecting them.
The National Coordinator of the Child Protection Alliance, Lamin Fati, said the civil society organizations have an essential role in promoting and protecting child rights as they complement government's efforts in attaining the collective goals. Despite having domestic legal instruments dealing with these rights, there are still challenges of accessing child rights by children in the country, he added.
We have laws that prohibit children from begging. We have laws that prohibit children from selling. We have laws that prohibit children from scavenging. Right, but we have also law that talks about the issue of what basic education shall be free and compulsory. But yet we have seen parents being subjected to paying school expenses, taking other expenses more than what the government is taking. So to me, that becomes what an issue of what accountability. How transparent is the government also informing its policy in terms of catering for the welfare of children?
Tida Jata Jaju, Director of Programs under the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, explains the importance of human rights pilot schools in our communities.
I wish to inform you that the human rights friendly schools aim to build the capacity of the whole community by promoting democratic environment, innovative teaching methods, and responsible citizenship. Human rights friendly schools reach beyond the classroom and out into the community. That's why we have lots of community sensitization to change the way people think about and actively participate to address human rights issues.
The Education Ministry's vision to strengthen human rights values in schools will help students understand human rights and prepare them to become more proactive, responsible citizens and future leaders. For QTV News, Lamin Alaj Fandindabo.
We will go with a short commercial break, and when we return, we find out how the National Youth Council commemorated International Human Rights Day. And we will also hear about what happened when the West African Insurance Institute held its 40th graduation ceremony. Join us after the break and for this and other stories.
QCELL is 10. This December, as part of our 10-year anniversary celebrations, QCELL is on a giveaway spree. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and correctly answer the questions that will be posted on our social media pages every day. Or call into our SUNU Boss Hour radio show on Q Radio 103.3 Monday to Thursday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. and stand the chance to get one of our amazing giveaways. It's going to be a great month of giveaways. QCELL, a decade of innovation, a lifetime of trust.
Welcome back and thanks for joining us. The National Human Rights Commission, in collaboration with the National Youth Council and partners, joins the rest of the world to commemorate International Human Rights Day. The theme for this year is Youth Standing Up for Human Rights and the role of youth in advancing the 2030 Agenda. Isa Jain reports.
The day is celebrated with a youth panel discussion forum on the role of youth and other stakeholders in advancing human rights and the 2030 Agenda. The Vice Chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission, Jaina Bajam, says the day calls for a deep reflection on the way forward for youth development, considering the tragic death of 58 Gambian youth who drowned at sea on the backway journey to Spain. The chairman of the National Youth Council, Dembo Kambi, calls on policymakers to involve the youth in the nation's decision-making processes for socio-economic development, as it is part of their fundamental human rights. The United Nations Resident Coordinator, Serafina Wakana, commends Gambian youth for marching and speaking out on pertinent issues such as equality, sexual and gender-based violence, access to socio-economic rights and freedom of expression. Justice of the Supreme Court of the Gambia, Jibu B.S. Sane, says the Gambia has come a long way from the era of a dictatorial regime which meted out gross human rights abuses to its citizens. However, with a new government and the establishment of the National Human Rights Commission, protection of human rights is guaranteed. The forum provides a platform for youth to express their views, promote awareness on their human rights, as well as encourage their participation in human rights education and political decision-making. For QTV News, I am Aisha Jan.
The construction of a borehole project was launched in Darul Lowen by Dasilame Ward Development Committee through Cast for Work project sponsored by the United Nations Capital Development Fund. Malik Nyang has more details.
The Dasilame Ward Development Project is in line with the UNCDF's mission to promote investment through local governments. The support to the community will bring in job opportunities as every member of the community who works will be paid daily through the Cast for Work project. Sana Sonko, community development expert and regional field officer UNCDF, says that the Cast for Work project aims to provide water for the local community.
The project is geared towards providing water supply for the community of Darul Lowen through Ward Development Committee, Dasilame Ward Development Committee. The main objective of UNCDF is to unlock the investment opportunities, and we are doing this through performance-based climate resilient grant. UNCDF is four components. You have local, that is local development. You have financial inclusion. You have ITC, that is skills. You also have investment component. So one of those components is what we are implementing here, and that is local.
The chairman of Kerewan Area Council, Malamin I.L. Bojang, thanked UNCDF for its support, saying the Cast for Work project will not only bring youth employment but also help curb migration.
Development cannot take place without the participation of the people. They need to participate. And area council have structures up to village level. All these structures are functioning now. That's why I am impressed. Secondly, there is Cast for Work. They are coming into the region, working with the council, will help to improve rural urban migration. They are going to participate and they will be paid daily allowance of $200. And that is going to maintain youths to stay in the communities. We are allowing Reliance to participate in this project. Q Morning also is going to participate in this project. It is going to encourage the cash for work participants to save with them, and then they will be paid through mobile kodo. And next year we are going to another 4 wards. And all these wards are going to benefit $1 million per year.
Mr. Bojang urged the beneficiaries to handle the project with care and put up sustainable mechanisms to maintain the facility. The program of jobs, skills and finance implemented through the local component of UNCDF in the Gambia operates in 3 regions: LRR, NBR and CRR. The partners are the local government areas, but the direct partners are the ward development committees who take care of the implementation of their ward's project. Malik Nyang for QTV News.
The West African Insurance Institute, WAI, held its 40th graduation ceremony. 25 students from different West African countries bagged a 1-year WAI diploma. Jenna Basonko attended the graduation ceremony at the WAI campus in Kololi, and she now reports.
The graduation ceremony brought together WAI representatives from different African countries and insurance company CEOs, amongst others. The West African Insurance Institute was established in August 1978 by the governments of Nigeria, Ghana, the Gambia, Liberia and Sierra Leone, signing an agreement, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, to enhance professional development in the area of insurance and more. The director of WAI Mission, Frederick John, delivered the State of the Institute address.
Brief rundown of the state of the Institute for 2019. And again, we start with the 1-year diploma program. 20 examinable modules and 2 non-examinable modules were taught during the year. A new examination format also took effect from the year under review. Examinations now consist of 2 parts. Part A contains 20 compulsory short answer questions, while Part B consists of 5 questions, essay questions, for which the students are required to answer only 3. This is all geared towards bringing the WAI diploma course assessment procedure at par with international standards and in conformity with professional examinations the world over.
The Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Mambu Njai, congratulated the graduates and called on stakeholders to support WAI to enhance its continuity.
Let me also take this opportunity to call on all the alumni of WAI to join hands with us in our mind towards making this institute the preferred destination when it comes to qualitative professional insurance training and capacity building in West Africa sub-region and beyond.
Joyce Hamilton Macaulay from Sierra Leone graduated as the valedictorian, and according to her, attending WAI has been a great experience.
When you get to WAI, whenever your organization gives you this opportunity, please take it with both hands and make your organizations proud. When we go back, I implore my batch, let us lift our organizations up and let us be people of the insurance industry. We will go. And then we grow organizations. We can do it, I know we can.
Research on past students has revealed that they are contributing to the development of insurance in their respective countries. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Basonko.
Before we end this bulletin of the news, let's have a quick look at our main news stories. The International Court of Justice held its first hearing on the case filed by the Gambia against Myanmar for its alleged genocide against the Rohingya Muslims. President Barrow has put an end to months-long speculations by announcing the imminent formation and registration of his own political party. The Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, MOBSE, commemorated World Human Rights Day with the theme Stand Up for Human Rights. The National Human Rights Commission, in collaboration with the National Youth Council and partners, joins the rest of the world to commemorate Human Rights Day. This year's theme is being Youth Standing Up for Human Rights. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news and have a pleasant night.